Welcome to Paranormal Perspective. I'm John Lorden, and joining me as always is...
Christy.
This is the show where we look into a paranormal or paranormal adjacent topic. Christy usually does the research. We did have one flip episode where we've rolled it around, but now we're back to the usual style. Christy's going to take us into a topic, show us what she could find in terms of proving it. We're doing this in front of a live audience. They're going to vote and decide who is correct. Is this paranormal or is it not paranormal? And basically, I have no insight into the topic before we start today. And it seems like I'm getting less and less the more episodes we do, because Christy sent this batch of photos about 4 minutes before we started filming. So I've had literally, I've barely seen the photos, let alone have had no time to do any research. Is that going to help her win today? That's the question. What do you think, Christy?
Well, any edge I can get, I take.
Okay. All right.
And this is a really good one today. At least I think it is.
All right. What are we talking about?
Today, we're going to be discussing La Pascualita, or the Corpse Bride of Chihuahua, Mexico.
The Corpse Bride. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the question we're putting to the audience?
Is she a mannequin or something else?
It's the Corpse Bride. All right, we need to spin it just a little harder, because you could have her be something that wasn't necessarily not paranormal, but something else. So,
Did you say something paranormal?
Is the Corpse Bride... Yeah, we could just go simple. Is the Corpse Bride a paranormal phenomenon? Spell that. Okay. Go for it.
Okay. There are lots of examples in the world today of incorruptible corpses, corpses that have been embalmed to such a degree that, they just constantly keep them up. Like there are popes that are done that way, Stalin, things like that. You've got all kinds of different nuns that are incorruptible and haven't decayed at all. But this one's a little bit different, because what if it's an embalmed corpse as a mannequin?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the history on this goes a little like this. On March 25th of 1930, Pascuala Esparza's bridal boutique in Chihuahua, Mexico, displayed a new bridal mannequin, and it was wearing, a bridal gown from the spring-summer collection. It was one of the newest ones. But this mannequin did more than just display the dresses for customers. It had an eerie appearance. It looked exactly like the shop owner's late daughter. To a T.
Okay.
To a T.
Okay.
Looked just like her. So people in town, they're like, rumors started flying. They start thinking, could this be her daughter? Because weeks prior to this, or months, it was weeks or months, we don't know the exact date, her daughter, and unfortunately her daughter's name has been lost in time, was set to be married. The day before her wedding, she was bitten either by a scorpion or a black widow, something with a potent poison, and she died before her wedding. And then, she was beautiful. She was well liked in the community. She had a good husband that she was going to be marrying. It just crushed everybody. But the townspeople were really suspicious because she looked so much like her. And the rumor mill started to stay. Well, she embalmed the corpse and put wedding dresses on it that her daughter could never wear.
Well, now there's another possibility here in terms of her just being in mourning, and, if she needs a mannequin, maybe asking a maker to have it look like her daughter. That's a real possibility as well, right?
Yeah, it is. And that's something that I thought about too. Yeah.
Okay.
So far, La Pascualita has been on display for over 90 years. In this shop, a bridal shop, it's lasted that long. It's amazing. Wow. Now, this is a picture of the daughter and La Pascualita with her.
That's
so
interesting.
You can see there's a...
Yeah, there's definitely a resemblance, but we don't know the daughter's name. There's no record, but we have a picture.
Yeah.
And we know her mother's name.
Yes.
That's
and
a weird
we also found
Mhm.
Well, we also found that her mother did order a mannequin from France at that time, and this is the one that she received.
Mm,
Now, there wasn't anything on the invoice about how it was supposed to look or anything like that, but when
okay.
La Pascualita got there, everyone was really unnerved by her appearance. She has wrinkles, she has lines, I mean, on her hands, it looks like she has fingerprints. Even her nails are rough, worn, like somebody who works with their hands daily. Real
Yeah.
hair, and I think there's another picture of the hand that's close up too, but I didn't mark it specifically. There we go. I would really like to have her fingerprinted and see if those are actual fingerprints.
Yeah, well, I don't know. There's something. Do those look like a woman's hands to you?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that's a
You
dude's
don't think
hand.
so?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. That looks to me like a guy's hand. And I don't know, just maybe the creator modeled the hands after his own or something, like took a casting off his own hands. Yeah, I just, to see her and the type of features that they're highlighting with her. And not to mention, this doesn't look like some kind of bizarre life cast or something like this. This looks like art. This looks like there's a very talented person that created this. This
And I
doesn't.
think there was.
Yeah, this doesn't. So if you were going to run down this theory of, no, it's a real body and there's something that they did in terms of embalming it and then kind of layering it in something. The face is way too cartoony for me. The eyes are very big. I think it's possible. I mean, you could have a woman that looks like this. I get that. But this looks stylized to me to a point of I'd really be questioning if it was real. These photos, to me, I'm worried that these photos are not related to the actual doll, that those close-ups are something that's been done to gag people. Because this one too, like, look how dirty this all is, and look how clean she is. Look how the colors don't really match. The skin tone is wrong. The tones that are going on in here, this is a real person's hand, and I'm pretty sure it's a dude. But there are numerous, like, you've got these red lines that are kind of in between the fingers. Like, look at your own, and look at all the different colors that happen in skin. They're happening here. This is real.
Well,
this isn't.
Then they have fooled everybody, because even Atlas Obscura shows these pictures as being part of her. Every website I've went to, they've got different series pictures, and she even has varicose veins on her legs.
Yeah, look here. There's no way. Those can't be the same hands. Look how small those hands look here, and unfortunately, I can't zoom in. Let me get more. Trying to get it more.
Chocolate. Oh, don't mess up my hand.
If it is a gag, it's someone that is aware of the actual hand position, because the hand position does look like a match.
Well, and when she arrived, people did note that she had an on skin color. She's not colored like Mexican people are.
Yeah, she's kind of orangey. But even looking at this photo, like, her face and her hands are matching. Kind of, as much as we could tell from this. Admittedly, like, this thing is getting super pixelated really quick. I wish we had a high-res image on this one. Oh, hello. Now we've zoomed in too far on everything. Yeah, I'm pretty suspect of this. I think it might even be a deceased person. Like, it's weird, this discolorization that's happening at the fingertips.
Or it could just be a 100-year-old mannequin.
Yeah, but then that type of aging should happen on her face as well. You know, it's weird. Like, when things age, they age in unison. Unless her head was literally, like, the mannequin's head was taken off and it was stored in a box for 40 years or something.
No, it's been in that window consistently for 90 years now.
Oh, and that's another thing. If being in a window, there would be light damage that's happening unless the window's been treated from the sun. So
From what I could tell, it hadn't been, unless it's just treated for like ultraviolet rays.
yeah, but even any discolorization would be pretty uniform. Or, I mean, potentially if there was an overhang and it was shading her head, like during afternoon hours, and the hands were getting much more exposure to the sun in general, maybe. But I'm telling you, the level of detail on these fingers, it's way over the top. Why would you spend this time doing this?
Well, I have answers for all of this.
Okay.
So I think the realism in this mannequin tweaks everybody's uncanny valley nerve, and it just unsettles them because, you know, people say when they're in the store shopping, her eyes follow you. People on the street have said the same thing. People who actually work in the store say that she changes positions without them changing her. There's one lady who works there. Her name is Sonia Burciaga. And she said, every time I go near Pascualita, my hands break out in a sweat. Her hands are very realistic, and she even has varicose veins on her legs. I believe she is a real person. She also brings, not that far.
Yeah.
She also brings good luck to any of the brides who come and see her and buy, if I don't know if it's, you have to buy a wedding dress from there or not for the luck to work, but that's what they say. Brides have good luck when they have met her when they're shopping. So I'm going to say right now, I do not believe that this is an embalmed corpse. I don't. Let me give you a little history of mannequins because I had no idea that they had such a cool history, and it's kind of weird too. So originally they started out in the Victorian era, and they didn't have any heads and features, anything like that. They were real, it's the Victorian era, so everything is going to be real stuffy and dowdy. Now, in the decades that followed, they started to weigh less and less because they weighed like 300 pounds originally. So they started weighing less and less. They started to get more and more lifelike. And in the 1920s to the 1930s in particular, they took on very realistic appearances. One of the most famous mannequins that has been in people's lives is Cynthia the GABA girl. And she's the next set of photos. She looks very realistic, and that's the way they were turning these mannequins out back then. Virtualhumans.org says that in 1932, New York-based artist Lester Gaba built a 100-pound plaster model who appeared more natural and human than most mannequins at the time. Cynthia is what she was named, and shortly after, she became a celebrity here in the United States. They did a Life magazine shoot where they posed her in all kinds of different places in New York, going on dates, getting into cars, and everything else with Gaba. She was invited to all of the most popular gatherings, events, weddings, and galas. She always wore the newest in fashions, the newest jewelry. I mean, whatever else you could throw on this mannequin to advertise and make her look beautiful, they did it. She had fan mail, a seat at the opera house, and her own radio show. And don't ask me how that's possible.
How would that happen?
I have no idea how she did a radio show.
Yeah.
But she did.
Christy, there's one guy in this picture that looks like a loser. Do you want to guess who it is?
The guy talking to the mannequin?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, she lived a very active, fruitful life until they posed her in a beauty salon sitting in a chair one day, and she slipped out and fell to the ground and broke into a million pieces.
Oh, she was plaster, so yeah, okay.
Yeah, he was able to put her back together, but by then people had lost interest in her, and the war had started, so he had to go serve, and we didn't get another Gaba girl. But, I mean, I've looked at so many pictures of mannequins from the 1930s, and while they're all very lifelike, none of them match quite as much detail as the one that La Pascualita has. I mean, it's crazy. But now, like I said, I don't believe that this is an embalmed corpse. I'm an adult. I can look at this and tell that's not what's happening there. But I do think something else is happening. And I hate to keep beating this drum, but anytime you put that much belief and attention into an object, it can start to take on a life of its own. Whether you just want to say it's infused with energy, it's become its own little tulpa because of thought form, because of everything that everyone's thrown at it. Because I even have video of her moving.
Okay.
I do have video of her moving.
Let's take a look. Oh, I'm excited that we have... So this is kind of recent, it looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Maybe we'll have some better shots of the hands in this.
It's a really good little segment.
Ah, not this trick again, Christy.
Enough, you can actually see
It's not a
Pascualita's
trick.
eyes moving from right to
Right to left, she's looking.
This is... I mean, you did... And it hasn't aired yet for those of you that are watching on the replay. Wait for Christmas, because we've got a special that's coming for you. But in that special, we've talked a little bit about special effects and even, my cat's going nuts here because of the ridiculousness of the eye movement. The eye movement thing is like one of the easiest things to do if you know anything about editing video. It's super, super easy. What I'm more curious about is I'm trying to get shots of the hand here to see if it matches the man hand that I'm seeing in the other pictures.
I believe if you go back toward the front.
Yeah, I'm kind of scanning through it, but I'm not really. Gosh. It's like they're avoiding it. Like,
if you look close,
there's so much footage of her here.
They're not avoiding her hands.
Well, but look, I mean, look at the pictures.
Uh-huh.
If these pictures were not part of this conversation, there would be nothing interesting about this. The only thing that makes it interesting is this thought about the pictures, which, by the way, that's a man's hand.
It is not a man's hand. That is a working woman's hand.
That's a man hand.
That's not.
But
and
outside of all that,
everybody talks about how real her hands are.
Yeah, outside of all that, if it's not a corpse, why would an artist spend... The level of detail on this hand is at least 10 to 100 times more than the level of detail on her face. Why would an artist spend all that extra work and time just on the hands?
Well, that's why people are afraid that it's something more
outside of
than just a mannequin.
The other possibility, which is that the hands were just manufactured in a different way. And if it was, I would say it's the guy that made this took like a casting of his own hands and then used them.
Oh my gosh, you are not going to let that go, are you?
No, because they're absolutely my hands. And look at this, just the level of detail is crazy.
It's ridiculous, but everybody talks about this.
Even if you did it with a plaster cast, the paint job that it would take to get it to look like this after that, there's multiple layers. This is real skin. 100% that's real skin.
I think that whoever made this mannequin just put this level of detail into it.
But
they
then
were almost like works of art
face?
back then. Well, no, her face has been up in the window all these years. I don't know. I don't know about the face.
Yeah.
I know about the hands and the legs, though.
We've got to put the question to the audience, Christy. Is the corpse bride a paranormal phenomenon, or is it man hands? Man hands is not. I didn't put an option for man hands. I just put yes or no.
Well,
I like the story of this. This mannequin is more interesting. Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That was crazy.
Gabba girl.
Now,
let's see if I can find more about just G-A-B-A?
G-A-B-A, yeah.
Cynthia, Gabba girl. Show me more pictures of Cynthia. Look at this. Look at this loser. Oh, it's the same guy. He must be the artist.
That's Gabba. Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, he's a little bit less of a loser if I know that it's the actual artist. because someone's got to be watching her and moving her around to these locations.
Oh,
and you can't just let her sit in public like that when she's made
now
of
people
plaster.
be breaking bits off of her and stealing it and whatnot.
Yeah.
Now today, if you want to go see La Pascualita, you're not going to be able to.
I was just
They
going to
say-
fly and check the hands. I was
Come
literally
on.
booking a flight.
Well, you're so upset about the man hands. I believe it.
What
Now
happened?
well, in 2019, she was removed from the window and taken to Mexico City for a display. And they put another mannequin that looked like her in her place, but everybody says the same thing. It doesn't have the level of detail that this mannequin has. And honestly, it hasn't come back since 2019, so nobody really knows where you can go look at it now. They try to pass the one off in their window as the original, but like I said, it doesn't have the detail that the original had. So look for La Casa de Pascualita when you go to Chihuahua, Mexico.
Okay, I will. Kira says John's a women's hand expert, apparently. As a matter of fact. No, it's actually more the other way. It's actually more of me looking at my own hand and saying, like, that looks like my hand.
I don't know. I think it looks like my hand too, though. Mine's got glitter on it, but you know.
I don't know.
I've always got glitter somewhere.
Too much work, too much detail, too much color, too much variation, real skin.
Or has it taken on a little life of its own?
The story has, that's for sure, because we're here talking about it. We're ending the poll, and unfortunately, Christy, you're gonna have to watch this one again. Chris says, John, maybe you have women's hands. Maybe. Mumoof says, John has women's hands. Maybe.
They figured it out.
Yeah. Wow.
They all figured it out.
Don't bully my sweet aunt.
She's popping in and out there.
Some
Your
ghost
hair-
just appeared.
What happened to your
Uh-oh.
hair?
There
It's
we
disappearing.
go.
Don't touch it. It's disappearing. They'll come back.
Oh, goodness. Well, Christy, unfortunately, 70% of the audience said no. Nothing
She's
paranormal.
not haunted, huh?
Nothing paranormal.
Okay. I hope La Pascualita doesn't come visit y'all.
Now I'm just curious. So we're going to do an extra poll real quick.
Oh my gosh.
Were they man hands? Just curious.
Oh, come on. Here we go.
Yes or no? Were they man hands?
Autumn Falls. Autumn Falls is like, John has women's hands.
I do have pretty hands. Don't get me started. I got way better hands than Tom Welling. I'll tell you that.
I don't know. That was a pretty nice cameo she got there.
Yeah, I don't think that went through the website. I don't know.
See, Moo Moof says she's paranormal. I do. I think that people have looked, 90 years they've been throwing this belief on this mannequin. I do.
Mhm.
I think it's taken on a little bit of a life of its own.
All right, we're just going to let this poll run for another minute.
Oh, is it not running your way?
What?
I
No.
said, is the poll not running
No,
your
see,
way?
we could both be winners in this episode. We will both be winners. Let's see.
Man, Lane's spelling it out. She says, you so have lady hands.
All right.
What do we got?
We're stopping it here. Well, I won by 30%. Well, I won by 70 to 30, basically. The woman hands conversation, I lost 80 to 20. So I lost extra on the woman hands.
Thank you.
Maybe I should
Thank
be
you,
a
guys.
model. Is that what you guys are trying to tell me? Should I get into modeling?
seriously, if you've got pretty hands, I always wanted to be a hand model.
I do have
Get
pretty
my
hands.
nails done. And
Yeah. Well, what do you think that are watching in the replay? Man hands or not? Tell us about it in the chat down below. And Christy,
please, yes.
where can people send ideas if they want to see one of their ideas on an episode?
please email me at paranormalpurse, PERS, @gmail.com.
All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Please join us again next week for another episode of Paranormal Perspective. We will see you on the other side.